Have you ever wondered why your mind seems so restless? Why do negative thoughts creep in, even when you're trying to stay calm? Why do certain situations trigger anxiety or stress when all you want is peace? These are questions we all face in daily life, and finding the answers can feel like a never-ending journey. But what if there was a way to shield your mind from all the chaos, to truly protect it from negativity, fear, and stress? In this video, we are going to explore powerful ways to shield your mind, drawing wisdom from Buddhist teachings that have helped millions over thousands of years. Let's start with something simple. Think about your day. You wake up, start your routine, and before you know it, stress is knocking on your door. Whether it's from work, relationships, or just the noise of modern life. Now, imagine if you had a shield, something that could block out those negative forces before they even reached you. Sounds amazing, right? This is what we're talking about today. We're not promising overnight magic, but through understanding and practice, you can protect your mind and live with more peace. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore timeless knowledge for modern challenges. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of people subscribe. We're creating valuable content for you. So please, hit that subscribe button and join our community. Buddhism teaches that the mind is the source of both suffering and joy. It is where our reality is shaped. If we can learn to understand the mind and train it, we can navigate life with more clarity and calm. In today's fast-paced world, our minds are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and distractions. This makes it even more important to have the tools to guard our mental space, and Buddhism offers simple yet profound practices to help us do just that. In this video, we'll break down some of the core teachings of Buddhism and how they can be applied to shield your mind from everyday stressors. The Buddhist concept of the mind. Welcome, my friend. You've come here to understand your mind, haven't you? That is a wise decision. You see, the mind is like water. When it's still, you can see clearly. But when it's disturbed, everything becomes blurry, confusing, and full of distortion. In Buddhism, the mind is seen as the most powerful tool we have. But like any tool, if we don't know how to use it properly, it can hurt us more than help us. Let me ask you this. How often do you feel like your mind is working against you? Perhaps you've experienced moments when your thoughts race uncontrollably, or when you feel trapped in negativity and doubt. These feelings are very common, and there's something we all deal with. But Buddhism teaches us that this doesn't have to be our reality forever. The mind, just like the body, can be trained, strengthened, and ultimately tamed. To understand how to shield the mind, we must first understand what the mind really is in the Buddhist view. In simple terms, Buddhism sees the mind as something that is constantly moving, shifting, and evolving. It's not a fixed thing, and it's not something we are born with in a rigid form. The mind is dynamic, always changing based on the experiences we have, the thoughts we think, and the actions we take. In Buddhism, the mind is often divided into two main aspects, the thinking mind and the observing mind. The thinking mind is what we are most familiar with. It's the part of us that is always busy, analyzing, judging, worrying, planning. It's the part of us that gets caught up in the noise of life. But there's another part of the mind that we don't often pay attention to, the observing mind. This is the quiet, calm part of the mind that simply watches. It doesn't judge or react. It just notices what's happening, like a witness. Most of the time, we live in the thinking mind. That's where all the stress, anxiety, and confusion come from. But if we can learn to tap into the observing mind, we can start to create space between our thoughts and our reactions. This is the beginning of shielding the mind. When we create that space, we're less likely to be swept away by negative emotions or overwhelming thoughts. We start to see things as they truly are, rather than through the lens of our worries or fears. Now, you might be wondering, how do I move from the thinking mind to the observing mind? The answer lies in awareness. In Buddhism, this practice is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple act of paying attention, of bringing your awareness to the present moment without judgment. When you are mindful, you are observing your thoughts and feelings as they come and go, without getting caught up in them. Imagine you are sitting by a river. The water is flowing past you, carrying leaves and debris downstream. Your thoughts are like those leaves. They come, they pass by, and they continue on their way. You don't have to jump into the river and chase after every leaf. You can simply sit on the bank and watch them go by. This is what mindfulness teaches us, to be the observer of our thoughts rather than the reactor. In Buddhism, the mind is also seen as the source of all suffering, but also the source of all happiness. This may sound contradictory, but it's actually quite simple. When the mind is untrained and out of control, it creates suffering. But when the mind is trained and focused, it becomes the key to our freedom. The Buddha taught that the root of our suffering comes from within. Our attachments, our desires, our misconceptions. It's not the external world that causes us pain, but how we respond to it. Think about that for a moment. How often do you find yourself frustrated or angry because things didn't go the way you expected? How often do you feel disappointed because something you wanted didn't happen? These reactions come from our mind's attachment to certain outcomes. We create stories in our heads about how things should be, and when reality doesn't match up to those stories, we suffer. But Buddhism teaches us that life is always changing. Nothing stays the same forever, and trying to hold on to things or control them only leads to more pain. Instead, we are encouraged to let go. Let go of our need to control everything. Let go of our attachments to how we think things should be. This doesn't mean we stop caring or stop trying. It means we approach life with a sense of openness, understanding that things will come and go, and that's okay. In order to shield the mind, we must learn to let go of these attachments. When we do, we create space for peace and clarity to enter. This is the essence of Buddhist practice, to free the mind from suffering by loosening the grip of attachment and desire. Another important concept in Buddhism is that of impermanence. Everything in life is impermanent. Our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences. Nothing stays the same forever. And yet, we often behave as if things will last forever. We cling to good moments, hoping they won't end. We resist bad moments, hoping they will go away quickly. But the truth is, everything is in a state of constant change. When we truly understand impermanence, we begin to see that there's no point in holding on to things so tightly. The mind that is attached is a mind that suffers. The mind that understands impermanence is a mind that is free. Buddhism offers many practices to help us train the mind and understand its nature. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools we have. Through meditation, we can quiet the thinking mind and connect with the observing mind. We can start to see our thoughts for what they really are, just passing phenomena. With practice, we can learn to let go of the thoughts that don't serve us and focus on those that bring us peace and clarity. In addition to meditation, there are other ways to train the mind. Mindful breathing, mindful walking, and mindful eating are all practices that bring us into the present moment and help us stay grounded. When we are fully present, the mind becomes clear, and we are less likely to be pulled into negativity or stress. In conclusion, the Buddhist concept of the mind is one of fluidity, constant change, and immense potential. Your mind is not something to be feared or controlled, but something to be understood and nurtured. By learning to observe your thoughts, by practicing mindfulness, and by embracing the impermanence of all things, you can begin to shield your mind from the suffering that comes from attachment and desire. Remember, the mind is both the source of your suffering and the key to your liberation. It's up to you to decide which path you want to take. The roots of mental suffering. The mind. It's an interesting place, isn't it? Sometimes, it's peaceful, calm, and full of clarity. Other times, it's restless, clouded, and filled with all sorts of negative emotions. Anger, sadness, anxiety. Why does this happen? Why is it so hard to keep our minds peaceful? To understand that, we need to dig deep into the roots of mental suffering. And Buddhism offers us a clear way to explore this. First, let's think about suffering itself. In life, we all experience pain, disappointment, and confusion. It's universal. But why does it feel so heavy? Why does it seem like the mind clings to these negative experiences and doesn't want to let go? The answer lies in what Buddhism calls dukkha, which is often translated as suffering or dissatisfaction. This concept is central to understanding the mind and why it suffers. Let me explain this in simple terms. Imagine you have a glass of water and you're holding it. It's not too heavy at first, right? But what if you had to hold that glass for hours? It would start to feel unbearable. This is like the mind. Negative emotions, like fear, jealousy, or anger, are like that glass of water. At first, they might seem small, but the longer you hold on to them, the heavier they feel. And that's where suffering begins. We hold on to things that we should have let go of a long time ago. Now, why do we hold on to these things? The root of mental suffering lies in three main things that Buddhism calls the three poisons: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Let's talk about these. First, attachment. This is when we cling to things, people, situations, or even ideas, thinking that they will bring us happiness. Think about the times when you felt unhappy because something didn't go the way you wanted it to. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, a job opportunity that fell through, or a plan that didn't work out. That sense of disappointment, that suffering, comes from attachment. We believe that if we have certain things, or if life goes a certain way, then we'll be happy. But life is unpredictable. Things change. And when we cling to things that are constantly changing, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Here's a simple example. Imagine you're holding a beautiful flower in your hand. It's delicate, bright, and smells wonderful. Naturally, you want to keep it forever. But what happens to flowers? They wither. No matter how hard you try to keep it alive, it will eventually fade. That's the nature of things. But if you become attached to the idea of keeping the flower forever, when it dies, you'll feel sadness, maybe even frustration. The problem isn't the flower, it's the attachment. In the same way, we get attached to people, possessions, and ideas. And when those things inevitably change, we suffer. Second, we have aversion. This is the flip side of attachment. If attachment is holding on to what we want, aversion is pushing away what we don't want. This happens every day. Maybe someone says something rude to you, and you feel anger bubbling up. Maybe you're facing a difficult task at work, and you feel stress rising inside you. That's aversion. It's our mind's way of saying, I don't like this. I want it to go away. But here's the thing. Not everything we dislike will disappear just because we want it to. And the more we resist, the more we suffer. Let's take a simple example. You're driving in heavy traffic. The cars are moving slowly, you're late, and frustration starts to build. What's happening here? It's aversion. You're resisting the situation because it's not what you want. But can you change the traffic? No. The more you fight it in your mind, the more stressed you feel. But if you learn to accept that traffic is a part of life, suddenly, the situation doesn't feel so heavy. That's what Buddhism teaches us, to accept what we cannot change, instead of resisting it with all our energy. Finally, we come to ignorance. This doesn't mean that someone is unintelligent. In Buddhism, ignorance refers to not seeing things as they really are. We go through life with certain assumptions and beliefs about how the world should be. We think that if we just get that job, or that relationship, or that possession, we'll finally be happy. We think that happiness is something we can chase and hold on to. But the truth is, everything in life is impermanent. Everything changes. And if we're ignorant of that fact, we suffer when things don't go according to our plan. Ignorance is like wearing a pair of sunglasses indoors. The world looks darker and more confusing than it really is. But once you take the glasses off, you realize that the light was always there. You just couldn't see it. In the same way, ignorance keeps us from seeing the truth about life, that change is natural, and clinging to things that change only brings suffering. So, what can we do about these roots of mental suffering? The first step is awareness. Once you become aware of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, you start to see them in your own life. You start to notice how often your mind clings to certain outcomes, or how it pushes away uncomfortable feelings. This awareness alone can begin to reduce suffering. When you notice your mind getting attached to something, you can remind yourself, this is attachment. I don't need to hold on so tightly. When you feel aversion rising, you can say, this is just discomfort. I don't need to resist it. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a garden. If we want it to be peaceful, we need to tend to it. We need to pull out the weeds of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Only then can we create space for peace, clarity, and joy to grow. One important tool to help with this process is meditation. Through meditation, We train the mind to become more aware, more focused, and more calm. It's not about forcing the mind to be quiet, but about observing it. When you meditate, you start to see the patterns of attachment, aversion, and ignorance more clearly. And the more you observe these patterns, the less power they have over you. In summary, the roots of mental suffering are deep, but they are not impossible to overcome. By becoming aware of our attachments, learning to accept what we can't control, and seeing the world as it truly is, we can begin to free our minds from unnecessary pain. The journey won't always be easy, but with practice and patience, we can learn to shield our minds from suffering and find a deeper sense of peace. Mindfulness and mental clarity. Imagine you're sitting on a quiet hillside, just breathing, feeling the cool breeze on your skin. There are no worries, no plans, no pressures, just you in the present moment. How does that feel? Peaceful, right? That sense of calm, of being fully present, is what we call mindfulness. And mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shield your mind from the chaos and distractions of everyday life. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just about sitting still or meditating in silence. It's about being fully aware of whatever you are doing in the present moment. Whether you're eating, walking, working, or simply breathing, mindfulness means bringing your full attention to that activity. It's like sharpening your focus on the here and now. This practice helps you avoid getting lost in thoughts about the past or worries about the future. And when you're grounded in the present moment, your mind becomes clearer, more peaceful, and less affected by stress. Now, think about your own day. How many times do you find your mind drifting away? Maybe you're thinking about something that happened yesterday, or stressing about something that might happen tomorrow. Your body is here, but your mind is somewhere else. This mental wandering is what often causes us to feel anxious or overwhelmed. When we're not paying attention to the present, we miss out on the simple joys of life and get tangled up in unnecessary worries. Mindfulness helps to bring your mind back, over and over again, to the present moment. And with this comes mental clarity. It's like wiping away the fog on a window, so you can see clearly again. In this state of clarity, you can make better decisions, respond to challenges more calmly, and enjoy life more fully. But how do you practice mindfulness in a way that shields your mind? The good news is, mindfulness doesn't require any special equipment or complicated techniques. You don't need to go on a retreat or spend hours meditating every day. In fact, you can start right now, wherever you are. Let's take something as simple as breathing. You breathe all day without thinking about it, right? But have you ever stopped to notice your breath? Try it now. Just take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Focus all your attention on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. That's mindfulness. Every time your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the breath. This practice may sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. By focusing on your breath, you're training your mind to stay in the present. And with time, you'll notice that your mind starts to wander less, and you become more grounded in the moment. When you're grounded like this, it's much harder for stress, anxiety, or negativity to take hold of you. Mindfulness is also about observing your thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. Think of your mind as a clear blue sky, and your thoughts as clouds passing by. Some clouds are light and fluffy. Those are the happy, peaceful thoughts. Others might be dark and stormy. These are the stressful, anxious thoughts. But here's the thing. No matter how many clouds appear, the sky itself remains unchanged. It doesn't get swept away by the clouds. Similarly, mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts without being carried away by them. You learn to recognize that just because a thought enters your mind, it doesn't mean you have to believe it or act on it. For example, if you start thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm going to fail," mindfulness allows you to notice that thought and then let it pass, just like a cloud. You don't have to fight the thought or force it away. You simply acknowledge it, and then gently refocus your attention on the present. Over time, you'll find that these negative thoughts have less power over you. This practice of watching your thoughts without judgment is called non-reactivity in Buddhism. It's a key part of shielding your mind because it helps you to stop reacting automatically to every little thing that happens. Instead of being thrown off balance by negative thoughts or emotions, you can stay calm and centered. You become like that clear sky, steady and unshaken, no matter what clouds pass through. One of the biggest challenges we face in modern life is the constant barrage of distractions. Social media, news, notifications. There's always something pulling our attention in a million different directions. But when you practice mindfulness, you learn to take back control of your attention. You can choose where to focus your energy instead of letting distractions run your life. This mental clarity makes you more productive, more focused, and more at peace. Now, you might be wondering, how can I bring more mindfulness into my daily life? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with small, simple steps. When you wake up in the morning, take a moment to just sit quietly and notice your breath. When you eat, focus on the taste and texture of your food instead of scrolling through your phone. When you walk, pay attention to the sensation of your feet touching the ground. Each of these moments is an opportunity to practice mindfulness and to shield your mind from distractions. As you start to incorporate mindfulness into your life, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel less overwhelmed by stress and more in control of your thoughts. Your mind will become clearer, and you'll be able to respond to challenges with greater calm and wisdom. And this is where mental clarity comes in. When your mind is clear, you see things as they truly are, without the distortion of stress, fear, or anxiety. With mental clarity, you're able to make decisions based on wisdom, rather than reacting out of fear or anger. You're less likely to get caught up in negative thinking patterns, and more able to focus on what truly matters. This is what it means to shield your mind. You're not avoiding challenges or pretending that stress doesn't exist. Instead, you're building a strong foundation of mindfulness and clarity, so that when challenges arise, you can face them with calm and confidence. In conclusion, mindfulness is a simple but profound practice that can transform your life. It helps you stay present, stay calm, and stay clear-headed, no matter what's going on around you. By bringing more mindfulness into your daily life, you can shield your mind from distractions, negativity, and stress. Over time, you'll find that your mind becomes like that peaceful hillside, steady, clear, and grounded in the present moment. Buddhist meditation practices to protect the mind. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet room. The noise of the world outside fades away. Your breath is slow, steady. In this moment, there is nothing but stillness. This is the beginning of a powerful practice, one that can shield your mind from the storms of life. Today, I want to guide you through some simple but effective meditation practices from Buddhism that will help protect and strengthen your mind. Meditation, or dhyana, is the heart of Buddhist practice. It is through meditation that we learn to observe the mind, to watch it as it moves, and to understand how it works. You see, the mind is like a monkey, always jumping from thought to thought, rarely resting. In meditation, we gently tame this monkey mind, bringing it into focus and calm. Let's start with a very simple practice, breath meditation. This practice is called anapanasati, or mindfulness of breathing. It's one of the most basic but powerful ways to center the mind. Sit comfortably, with your back straight, shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes. Now, bring your attention to your breath. Notice the air as it enters your nose, flows down into your lungs, and then leaves your body. Don't try to control it. Just observe. Inhale in and out. Your breath is always with you, but how often do you really pay attention to it? This simple act of noticing your breath brings you back to the present moment. As you focus on your breath, thoughts may come up. You might start thinking about something you need to do, or an old memory might pop up. This is natural. The mind is always thinking. When you notice a thought, don't judge it or get frustrated. Just gently bring your attention back to your breath. It's like training a puppy, kind, patient, and consistent. Over time, this practice of focusing on the breath creates a space between you and your thoughts. You start to realize that thoughts are just that, thoughts. They come and go, like clouds passing through the sky. But you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. This realization is a key to protecting your mind. When you understand that you are not your thoughts, you gain control over them, instead of letting them control you. Another powerful meditation practice in Buddhism is called metta bhavana, or loving-kindness meditation. In this practice, you develop a sense of compassion and kindness, first for yourself and then for others. Again, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Begin by focusing on yourself. bring to mind a phrase like, "May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering." Repeat this phrase silently to yourself. Feel the warmth and kindness in these words. It might feel strange at first, but let yourself soak in the feeling of compassion. Once you've spent a few moments with yourself, begin to expand your circle of compassion. Think of someone you love and silently wish them well. May they be happy. May they be peaceful. May they be free from suffering. Then, move on to someone you know but feel neutral about, perhaps a neighbor or a colleague. Wish them well too. Finally, bring to mind someone you may have difficulty with. This part can be challenging, but the idea is to extend kindness even to those we struggle with. In doing this, you soften your heart and mind, making it harder for anger or resentment to take hold. This practice shields your mind by cultivating a sense of connection and kindness. When your mind is filled with compassion, it's harder for negative emotions like hatred, jealousy, or anger to find a home. You become more resilient, able to face life's challenges with a calm and open heart. There is another meditation practice that is incredibly useful for protecting the mind, called Vipassana, or insight meditation. In Vipassana, the goal is to see things as they truly are. You learn to observe not only your breath, but also your thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Sit quietly and bring your attention inward. As you sit, notice the sensations in your body. Maybe you feel an itch on your nose or a tightness in your back. Just observe it. Don't react. Then, notice your emotions. Maybe you feel calm, or perhaps a little anxious. Again, just observe. Then, turn your attention to your thoughts. What is your mind doing? Is it racing? Is it still? Watch it without getting caught up in it. The beauty of Vipassana is that it teaches you to observe everything without attachment. You start to see that all things, thoughts, feelings, sensations, are temporary. They come and go. Nothing stays the same. When you deeply understand this, you are no longer a prisoner to your emotions or thoughts. You see them for what they are, fleeting, ever-changing. This understanding brings a deep sense of freedom and peace. In our daily lives, we often react quickly to situations. Someone says something rude, and we immediately feel anger. We get bad news and instantly feel anxious. These reactions happen so fast that we often don't even realize they are happening. But through meditation, we develop awareness. We become more mindful of our reactions, and over time, we learn to pause before responding. This pause is where your power lies. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose how to respond. This is how you shield your mind. You no longer let every little thing disturb your peace. Another key practice is walking meditation. This can be done indoors or outdoors, but the idea is the same. You focus on the movement of your body as you walk. Feel your feet touch the ground, feel the muscles in your legs engage, and notice the rhythm of your steps. Walking meditation is a way to bring mindfulness into everyday activities. It's a reminder that meditation doesn't have to be limited to sitting quietly. You can carry this awareness with you throughout the day. These meditation practices, mindfulness of breathing, loving kindness meditation, insight meditation, and walking meditation, are simple but powerful tools to protect and strengthen your mind. They help you create a buffer between yourself and the outside world, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and calm rather than reacting out of fear or anger. In Buddhism, the mind is seen as the source of both suffering and joy. When the mind is untrained, it is easily disturbed by external events. But when we practice meditation, we learn to quiet the mind, to see things clearly, and to respond with awareness. Over time, this creates a deep sense of inner peace and resilience. As you continue to explore these practices, remember that the goal is not perfection. Meditation is a lifelong journey. Some days, your mind will be calm and focused. Other days, it will be restless. That's okay. The key is to keep practicing, to keep returning to the present moment again and again. Through this consistent effort, you will slowly build a shield around your mind. A shield that allows you to move through life with grace, clarity, and peace. Overcoming negative emotions through the Four Noble Truths. In the quiet of the morning, before the world awakens, imagine a gentle breeze carrying away all your worries. This is what the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism offer: a way to let go of the burdens that weigh on your heart and mind. They are like guiding stars, showing us how to navigate through the storms of negative emotions and find our inner peace. The first noble truth is the truth of suffering, or dukkha. Life, as we experience it, often comes with discomfort and dissatisfaction. This is not something to fear or avoid, but to acknowledge. The Buddha teaches us that suffering is part of the human condition. By accepting this, we start to see our troubles not as isolated events, but as part of a larger pattern of existence. Imagine you have a heavy stone in your hand. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? The more you hold on to it, the heavier it feels. This stone represents the suffering we cling to, our anxieties, regrets, and fears. Recognizing this suffering is the first step towards setting it down. The second noble truth is the truth of the cause of suffering, or samudaya. Here, we learn that our suffering often arises from our desires and attachments. We chase after things we believe will bring us happiness, wealth, success, approval. But these are like mirages in the desert. They promise much but deliver little. Consider a cup of water that you want to keep full. No matter how much you pour in, it will never be enough. This endless craving leads to frustration. By understanding that our desires are the cause of our suffering, we begin to see how we can free ourselves from this endless cycle. The third noble truth is the truth of the cessation of suffering, or nirodha. This is the promise of relief. Just as the wind can clear away clouds, understanding the nature of our desires can lead us to a state of peace. It's not about eliminating desire altogether, but about finding a way to live without being enslaved by it. Think of a calm lake. When the water is still, you can see the reflection of the sky clearly. When our minds are calm and free from the turbulence of cravings, we can see our true nature and experience profound peace. This is what the cessation of suffering looks like, a mind untroubled and serene. The fourth noble truth is the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering, or magga. This is the practical guide, the path we can follow to achieve the freedom we seek. The Buddha laid out the Eightfold Path, a series of principles that guide us in our thoughts, actions, and understanding. It is a path of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Imagine walking a path through a dense forest. The Eightfold Path is like a clear trail that guides you safely through. Each step you take on this path helps you to clear away the underbrush of confusion and distress, leading you toward a place of clarity and peace. By embracing the Four Noble Truths, you start to see your negative emotions in a new light. They are no longer insurmountable obstacles, but are simply parts of the journey. The more you understand their origins and their nature, the more you can manage them with wisdom and compassion. In your daily life, when you encounter negative emotions, remember these truths. Notice them without judgment. Understand their roots and see them for what they are, temporary and changeable. This perspective allows you to respond with calmness and clarity rather than react impulsively. As you practice this understanding, you begin to find that your mind is less disturbed by these emotions. You learn to navigate through them with a sense of ease, much like a skilled sailor navigating through turbulent seas. The storms of life will come and go, but with the Four Noble Truths as your guide, you will find your way through with greater grace and tranquility. The Eightfold Path and mental discipline. In the vast garden of the mind, imagine the Eightfold Path as a gentle gardener tending to the soil. This path is a guide, a way to cultivate a fertile ground where wisdom and peace can flourish. Each step along the Eightfold Path is like a tool for nurturing your mind, helping you to grow in understanding and tranquility. Let's walk this path together, step by step. First, there is right understanding. This is the lens through which we view the world. It's not just about knowledge, but about seeing things as they truly are. When you understand the nature of suffering, the causes of it, and the path to its end, your mind begins to clear. You see beyond the surface, recognizing the deeper truths of existence. This understanding helps you navigate life's challenges with clarity and calm. Next, we have right thought. This is about shaping the intentions and attitudes of your mind. It's the seed you plant in the fertile soil of right understanding. By cultivating thoughts of kindness, compassion, and detachment, you nurture a peaceful state of mind. When your thoughts are aligned with wisdom, they transform your reactions and interactions. You begin to act from a place of calm rather than chaos. Right speech follows, guiding how you express yourself. Words have the power to heal or harm. By practicing mindful speech, you ensure that your words reflect truth, kindness, and harmony. When you speak with awareness, you avoid the pitfalls of gossip, lies, and harshness. Your speech becomes a tool for building bridges rather than walls. Then comes right action, which involves acting in ways that are ethical and beneficial. This is about how your actions impact yourself and others. By adhering to principles of non-harm, generosity, and integrity, you create a life that is not only fulfilling but also harmonious. Right action helps you align your behaviors with your values, making each action a step toward a more balanced and mindful life. Right livelihood is about how you earn your living. It's a call to ensure that your work contributes positively to the world and doesn't cause harm. By choosing a path that reflects ethical principles, you align your daily efforts with your broader values. Your livelihood becomes a source of satisfaction and peace, rather than stress and conflict. Right effort involves the energy you invest in cultivating positive states of mind and overcoming negative ones. It's about being diligent in your practice, gently pushing away unwholesome thoughts while nurturing good ones. This effort is not about force but about consistent, patient practice. It's the steady hand that guides the gardener's tools, ensuring the garden thrives. Right mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment. It's the awareness that watches over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. By practicing mindfulness, you develop a keen awareness of your inner and outer worlds. This presence helps you stay grounded, making it easier to respond to life's challenges with equanimity. Finally, right concentration is the ability to focus your mind with clarity and depth. It's the practice of meditation that helps you cultivate inner stillness. Through concentration, you develop a deep mental stability and insight. This focused attention allows you to see things clearly, free from the distortions of distraction and confusion. As you tread the Eightfold Path, each step supports the others, creating a harmonious approach to mental discipline. It's not a linear journey but a continuous practice. With each step, you cultivate a mind that is not only resilient but also serene. This path guides you toward a state of inner peace, where you can face life's trials with a steady heart and a clear mind. By incorporating the Eightfold Path into your daily life, you begin to shield your mind from the turbulence of the external world. It becomes a practice of inner discipline, where each step is a mindful action toward greater clarity and tranquility. As you walk this path, remember that the journey itself is the reward. Each moment of awareness, each right action, brings you closer to a peaceful and resilient mind. Cultivating compassion and loving kindness. In the vast landscape of the mind, there exists a sanctuary, a place of warmth and serenity that we often overlook. This sanctuary is built upon compassion and loving kindness, the very foundations that support a shielded mind. Imagine your heart as a garden. When you plant seeds of kindness and compassion, you cultivate a space where peace and joy can grow. In Buddhism, compassion and loving kindness are not just lofty ideals. They are practical tools for everyday life. These qualities are like a gentle breeze that soothes the turbulence of our thoughts and emotions. To cultivate these, we first need to understand their essence. Compassion is the ability to feel the suffering of others and the desire to alleviate it. It's not merely about sympathy, but about a deep, empathetic connection with those around us. When you see someone struggling, true compassion allows you to step into their shoes, to understand their pain without being overwhelmed by it. Loving kindness, on the other hand, is a broader, more inclusive quality. It's the wish for everyone to be happy and free from suffering, extending not just to loved ones but to all beings. This practice starts with ourselves. By nurturing loving kindness within, we create a positive ripple effect that touches everyone we meet. To begin cultivating compassion and loving kindness, start with a simple exercise. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Think of someone who is close to you, someone who has brought joy into your life. Imagine them surrounded by a warm, golden light. As you focus on this light, silently wish for their happiness and well-being. Feel this warmth spread through you. Next, Extend this practice to others. Imagine someone you have difficulty with and send them the same golden light. Wish them peace and happiness, despite the challenges in your relationship. This exercise might feel uncomfortable at first, but with practice, it will become a natural part of your daily life. In Buddhist teachings, there's a concept known as the Metta-bhavana, or the development of loving kindness. This practice involves repeating phrases that reflect your wishes for yourself and others. You might say, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease." Gradually, expand these wishes to others. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. This simple practice can profoundly shift your perspective and enhance your interactions with the world. Practicing compassion and loving kindness also means learning to forgive. Holding onto grudges or past hurts creates a barrier in our minds, blocking the flow of positive emotions. By letting go of anger and resentment, we make space for compassion to flourish. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or condoning negative actions. It's about freeing ourselves from the heavy burden of grudges. As you incorporate these practices into your life, notice the subtle shifts in your thoughts and feelings. Compassion and loving kindness have the power to transform your inner landscape, making it easier to shield your mind from negativity. They create a protective layer that deflects harmful influences and nurtures a sense of inner peace. In daily interactions, try to approach each person with a spirit of kindness. This doesn't mean you have to be overly generous or accommodating, but rather approach each situation with an open heart. When faced with conflicts or challenges, respond with empathy rather than judgment. This approach not only benefits others, but also enhances your own emotional well-being. Remember, cultivating compassion and loving kindness is an ongoing journey. It requires patience and practice, much like tending to a garden. Some days may be easier than others, and that's okay. The key is to remain consistent and gentle with yourself as you develop these qualities. By nurturing compassion and loving kindness, you build a strong shield for your mind. This shield protects you from the harshness of the world, allowing you to navigate life with grace and resilience. As you continue on this path, you'll find that your mind becomes a sanctuary of peace and positivity, capable of withstanding the storms of negativity that may come your way. So, as you move forward, carry the essence of compassion and loving kindness with you. Let it guide your actions, shape your thoughts, and transform your interactions. In doing so, you not only shield your mind but also contribute to creating a more compassionate world for everyone. Impermanence and detachment. Keys to mental liberation. In the gentle flow of life, everything changes. This truth is as old as time itself, and yet we often forget it. Impermanence. This simple yet profound concept holds the key to freeing our minds from unnecessary suffering. In the realm of Zen, understanding and embracing impermanence is not just a philosophical idea. It is a practice that can transform our daily experience. Imagine a river flowing steadily, its water always moving, never the same from one moment to the next. Just like this river, our lives are in constant motion. Every moment, every thought, and every feeling is flowing and changing. The problem arises when we cling to moments, when we grasp at things we want to remain the same. This attachment causes suffering because, in reality, nothing stays still. Everything shifts, changes, and eventually fades away. When we hold on tightly to our experiences, be it joy, pain, success, or failure, we are trying to stop the flow of the river. We are fighting against the natural order of things. By understanding impermanence, we can learn to let go of this struggle. We can allow ourselves to experience life's highs and lows without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of grasping at what we desire or fearing what we don't want, we can simply flow with life, embracing each moment as it comes and goes. Detachment, often misunderstood, is not about becoming indifferent or aloof. It's about recognizing that we don't need to cling to things or outcomes to find our peace. Detachment is the art of letting go of our attachment to results and expectations. It's like watching clouds pass by in the sky, knowing they will change shape and move away, yet enjoying their presence while they are there. We acknowledge their existence, but do not become attached to their form or permanence. When we practice detachment, We free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire and disappointment. We learn to appreciate what we have in the moment without needing it to last forever. This freedom allows us to live more fully, with a clear mind and an open heart. It doesn't mean we stop caring or engaging with life. Rather, we engage with less fear and more acceptance. Consider a garden. The flowers bloom beautifully, but they do not last forever. The leaves fall, and the seasons change. If we resist this natural cycle, we will miss the beauty of the garden. But if we accept that change is part of the garden's life, we can appreciate each phase of its existence. The same applies to our lives. By embracing impermanence and practicing detachment, we can appreciate the beauty in each moment without being burdened by the fear of loss. In Buddhism, this understanding is crucial for mental liberation. When we let go of our rigid attachments and accept the transient nature of life, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace and contentment. We become more resilient in the face of life's inevitable changes and challenges. Our minds are no longer caught in the turmoil of clinging to the past or fearing the future. Instead, we find a steady calm in the present moment, where everything is just as it should be. This doesn't mean that we become passive or disengaged. It means that we act with wisdom and compassion, knowing that everything is temporary. We can strive for goals and build relationships, but we do so with an awareness that everything will eventually change. This awareness helps us to navigate life with greater ease and grace. By embracing impermanence and practicing detachment, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life. We no longer need to resist or fight against change. Instead, we can move with it, adapting and growing as we go. Our minds become more peaceful and resilient, capable of facing life's inevitable changes with equanimity. So, let us take a moment to reflect on this truth. Let us observe our own attachments and see how they influence our thoughts and actions. By understanding the impermanent nature of all things and practicing detachment, we can shield our minds from unnecessary suffering and find a profound sense of liberation in the flow of life. Embrace the river of change and let it carry you to a place of inner peace and clarity. The power of focus and concentration in Buddhism. In the heart of Buddhism, there lies a serene and powerful tool. Focus. Picture a calm pond, its surface perfectly still, reflecting the world with crystal clarity. This is the essence of what we seek through concentration and focus. When our mind is like this pond, undisturbed and clear, we can see things as they truly are, unclouded by the ripples of distraction. Focus is not merely about keeping our attention on one thing. It is about nurturing a deep, unwavering clarity of mind. The Buddha spoke of the mind as a skilled carpenter. If the carpenter is steady, the work is precise and beautiful. If the carpenter is distracted, the work becomes flawed and messy. Similarly, our mind, when focused, can craft a life of peace and purpose. But when scattered, it breeds confusion and unrest. In daily life, distractions are many. They come in the form of thoughts, worries, and external disturbances. These distractions can pull us away from what truly matters. Buddhism teaches that the key to overcoming these distractions is not to fight them, but to cultivate a strong, steady focus. This focus is like a shield that protects us from the chaos of the world, helping us to stay centered and calm. Consider the practice of mindfulness. It is not just about paying attention, but about being fully present in each moment. When we eat, we savor each bite. When we walk, we feel the ground beneath our feet. This practice of mindfulness helps us develop concentration by anchoring our awareness in the present moment. It trains our mind to let go of the past and future and to remain steady amidst the storm. Meditation is a profound way to enhance this focus. When you sit in meditation, you allow your mind to rest, much like a calm pond. As you breathe deeply and observe your thoughts without judgment, you are practicing concentration. This simple act of sitting and breathing develops your ability to stay focused. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental discipline, making it easier to maintain focus in all areas of life. The Buddha also spoke of the 4 foundations of mindfulness: mindfulness of the body, feelings, mind, and phenomena. These foundations are the pillars of concentration. By understanding and practicing mindfulness in these areas, we create a solid foundation for a focused mind. This focus then becomes a powerful tool to shield us from the turbulence of everyday life. When we are focused, our actions become deliberate. We are not swayed by every little distraction or emotion. Instead, we act with purpose and clarity. This clarity helps us make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and respond to challenges with calmness and wisdom. In essence, focus is not just about attention. It is about creating a life of intentionality and balance. In your daily practice, try to cultivate small moments of focus. Perhaps you start by focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day. Gradually, extend this practice to other activities, eating, walking, or even listening to others. As you build this habit, you will notice that your mind becomes more disciplined and less prone to distraction. Remember, the journey to a focused mind is a gradual one. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories. Each moment of focus strengthens your ability to shield your mind from the chaos around you. Like a skilled carpenter refining their craft, you too are honing your ability to maintain clarity and peace amidst the busyness of life. As you continue on this path, you will find that focus and concentration become natural parts of your daily experience. They are not merely practices but ways of being that bring you closer to the calm and clarity that Buddhism teaches. Through dedicated practice, your mind becomes like that still pond, clear, reflective, and serene. So, embrace the power of focus. Let it guide you towards a more centered and peaceful life. Allow it to be your shield, protecting you from the distractions and stresses that arise. In this way, focus becomes not just a practice but a profound way of living, rooted in the wisdom of Buddhism and the simplicity of a clear, calm mind. The power of focus and concentration in Buddhism. In the heart of Buddhism, there lies a serene and powerful tool, focus. Picture a calm pond, its surface perfectly still, reflecting the world with crystal clarity. This is the essence of what we seek through concentration and focus. When our mind is like this pond, undisturbed and clear, we can see things as they truly are, unclouded by the ripples of distraction. Focus is not merely about keeping our attention on one thing. It is about nurturing a deep, unwavering clarity of mind. The Buddha spoke of the mind as a skilled carpenter. If the carpenter is steady, the work is precise and beautiful. If the carpenter is distracted, the work becomes flawed and messy. Similarly, our mind, when focused, can craft a life of peace and purpose. But when scattered, it breeds confusion and unrest. In daily life, distractions are many. They come in the form of thoughts, worries, and external disturbances. These distractions can pull us away from what truly matters. Buddhism teaches that the key to overcoming these distractions is not to fight them but to cultivate a strong, steady focus. This focus is like a shield that protects us from the chaos of the world, helping us to stay centered and calm. Consider the practice of mindfulness. It is not just about paying attention, but about being fully present in each moment. When we eat, we savor each bite. When we walk, we feel the ground beneath our feet. This practice of mindfulness helps us develop concentration by anchoring our awareness in the present moment. It trains our mind to let go of the past and future and to remain steady amidst the storm. Meditation is a profound way to enhance this focus. When you sit in meditation, you allow your mind to rest, much like a calm pond. As you breathe deeply and observe your thoughts without judgment, you are practicing concentration. This simple act of sitting and breathing develops your ability to stay focused. Over time, this practice strengthens your mental discipline, making it easier to maintain focus in all areas of life. The Buddha also spoke of the four foundations of mindfulness: mindfulness of the body, feelings, mind, and phenomena. These foundations are the pillars of concentration. By understanding and practicing mindfulness in these areas, we create a solid foundation for a focused mind. This focus then becomes a powerful tool to shield us from the turbulence of everyday life. When we are focused, our actions become deliberate. We are not swayed by every little distraction or emotion. Instead, we act with purpose and clarity. This clarity helps us make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and respond to challenges with calmness and wisdom. In essence, focus is not just about attention. It is about creating a life of intentionality and balance. In your daily practice, try to cultivate small moments of focus. Perhaps you start by focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day. Gradually, extend this practice to other activities, eating, walking, or even listening to others. As you build this habit, you will notice that your mind becomes more disciplined and less prone to distraction. Remember, the journey to a focused mind is a gradual one. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories. Each moment of focus strengthens your ability to shield your mind from the chaos around you. Like a skilled carpenter refining their craft, you too are honing your ability to maintain clarity and peace amidst the busyness of life. As you continue on this path, you will find that focus and concentration become natural parts of your daily experience. They are not merely practices but ways of being that bring you closer to the calm and clarity that Buddhism teaches. Through dedicated practice, your mind becomes like that still pond, clear, reflective, and serene. So, embrace the power of focus. Let it guide you towards a more centered and peaceful life. Allow it to be your shield, protecting you from the distractions and stresses that arise. In this way, focus becomes not just a practice but a profound way of living, rooted in the wisdom of Buddhism and the simplicity of a clear, calm mind. Conclusion: living with a shielded mind. Welcome to the final part of our journey. Here, we gather all that we have learned and look to the future. Imagine your mind as a garden. You have worked hard to plant seeds of wisdom, water them with mindfulness, and clear away the weeds of negativity. Now, your garden blooms with tranquility and clarity. How do you continue to nurture this garden? How do you keep it thriving amidst the changing seasons of life? To live with a shielded mind is to maintain a gentle but unwavering focus on what truly matters. In our exploration of Buddhist teachings, we have learned that the mind is a powerful tool. It can either be a source of suffering or a wellspring of peace. Our practices, mindfulness, meditation, compassion, and understanding, are like the tools we use to tend to our garden. Each day, as we apply these tools, we help our mind remain clear and resilient. Every day offers a new opportunity to practice what we have learned. It's easy to forget these lessons when life gets busy or challenging, but remember that every moment is a chance to reconnect with your inner peace. When you feel the weight of the world pressing in, take a step back. Breathe deeply. Remember the practices that have helped you shield your mind. They are always there for you, ready to restore balance and calm. Living with a shielded mind does not mean avoiding life's difficulties. Rather, it means facing them with a calm and centered approach. Imagine facing a storm with a sturdy umbrella. The storm may still rage, but the umbrella protects you from its worst effects. In the same way, your mind, when shielded by wisdom and practice, can weather the storms of life without being overwhelmed. As we conclude, remember this: your mind is like a clear lake. When disturbances arise, the water may become murky. But with patience and practice, the water settles and clarity returns. Your daily practices, no matter how small, contribute to the clarity and serenity of your mind. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope these teachings have offered you valuable insights and practical tools for shielding your mind. May you continue to apply these practices in your daily life, nurturing your inner garden and finding peace in each moment. If you found this video helpful, we invite you to continue exploring with us. There are countless teachings and practices in Buddhism that can further enrich your life. Please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us bring more wisdom and insight to those who seek it. Remember, the path to a shielded mind is a lifelong journey. With each step you take, you are cultivating a more peaceful and resilient self. Embrace this journey with an open heart and a steady mind. Thank you for being part of this community, and may your path be filled with clarity and calm.